Good morning, Lupe. All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to your daily cybersecurity threat briefing. Good morning. It's January 5th, 2022. We are going to dominate the first half hour of the day with crazy good news stories, expert analysis, wonderful audience chat, and just getting it straight mainline in this coffee. Good morning, Kimberly from South Florida. Sounds warm there. I am dealing with cold, drizzly weather, which is my second least favorite. Blizzard conditions are my least favorite. Hey, Alex. Good morning, Pamela. We'll get going. Poulant, good to see you. Professor Black Ops, always. Good morning. Good morning, Cindy. Oh, you guys rock, huh? Coming in with the heat. Hey, Tom. Drinking. I'm trying to drink through this Tunisian peaberry coffee. I know a guy, so I had to buy 7 pounds of it at once, but I got a good deal. I'll be getting back into French roast as soon as I can. Oh, Lupe in Vermont, yes. Hey, Mabel, good to see you from London. Love the international community. Dr. Joseph, always a pleasure. Got the UK representing, Michigan in the house. Or going to Alaska. First one there. Hey, Quinn Zale. Oh, Joshua, thank you. Yeah, I actually ordered a Simply Cyber mug too because I'm drinking coffee on stream every morning. I figured it'd be fun. It should be here. Good morning from South Africa. Yes, I love it. I know we have Tokyo, Malaysia, South Africa's. That's a new one for me. You guys are the best. Really, really love this group. All right, so you guys know the routine. If you're new here, we're going to be ripping through the top news stories and just having a good time. We're going to go through it and see what's up. First of all, I'd like to just remind everybody that this is ad-free all the time, and it's because of support from the memberships of the squad. And we got a couple new members. Josh Smith up in here, Joshua Smith. Poulant, DM'd Poulant on Discord yesterday. It was a good time. Thank you for your support and continuing to make First Things First absolutely free for folks. Okay, you guys ready? If you want to play along, go to cisoseries.com. Daily cybersecurity headlines. That's who's running it for us, or not running it, but you know what I'm saying. It's where we get our news, people. Hey, Cayman Islands. That sounds warm. I like that. All right, let's dig in.
From the CISO series, it's Cybersecurity Headlines.
It's Wednesday, January 5th, 2022. FTC warns of potential penalties for failing to fix Log4j flaws. On Tuesday, the Federal Trade Commission warned companies of possible legal repercussions for failing to remedy recently discovered Log4j open source software vulnerabilities. As a cautionary tale, the FTC's notice cites the agency's $700 million settlement with Equifax in 2019 after the company was breached, exposing personal data of 147 million customers resulting from failure to patch a known flaw. The agency noted, quote, "It is critical that companies and their vendors relying on Log4j act now in order to reduce the likelihood of harm to consumers and to avoid FTC legal action," end quote.
Okay, so no, I mean, this is great to see. And by the way, can someone just give me a thumbs up if my audio is good? We had some issues on Monday, and I've been, anxious about having audio issues again. So I just want to make sure I see Andreen is having some trouble here. So the FTC's entire purpose in the United States is to protect consumers, right? So if a group of a business is being negligent or whatever, taking advantage, being bad, whatever, the FTC is the one who steps in and defends or represents the consumer. So what we're seeing here is pretty strong. This is FTC saying if you knowingly don't fix your Log4j situation, then you're going to be, thank you everybody, you're going to be held accountable, possibly fined, and potential other litigation. Remember, people, you have to knowingly and negligently not address the Log4j. If you had some weird, deep-rooted Log4j in a system that you only use once a year or something like that, and you didn't know about it and it got compromised, then you'd have a case on your hands. FTC is more going for people who are like straight up, no, like just like lighting cigars with $100 bills and be like, no, we don't have time to stop and fix Log4j. We're making too much money. Can't stop the train. That's like who they're going after. So, I mean, it's good to see they're putting a little bit of teeth to the tiger, if you will, on making sure that people are doing what they're supposed to be doing as far as fixing Log4j. So good on FTC. Big old fan.
US Cellular discloses data breach after billing system hack. Wireless carrier US Cellular has disclosed its second data breach in 2021 after the company's billing system was hacked in December. The mobile carrier sent data breach notifications to 405 impacted individuals and have indicated that threat actors gained access to customer accounts, including name, address, PIN code, phone numbers, and plan information. US Cellular clarified that Social Security numbers and credit card information is masked within the CRM system. US Cellular has reset security questions, answers, and pins linked to affected accounts, and impacted customers are advised to be on the lookout for targeted phishing scams.
Yeah, so I hate to sound like I don't know where I don't know. US Cellular, I forgot that they were still around. Must be a slow news day because they is 405 impacted individuals. Not that that isn't those people aren't important and they're definitely victims, but that's kind of a small number. I mean, that's even below 500, which is the minimum number for HHS OCR to require healthcare organizations to publicly disclose patient health information breaches. Yeah, passwords were not compromised, but again, guys, from a cybersecurity perspective, you really got to think through the entire threat landscape. In this instance, my immediate thought goes to social engineering. You know my phone number, you know my PIN, which is something that I wouldn't think anyone would know. You can call and say you're from US Cellular. Listen, here's the attack. Hi, this is Jerry from US Cellular. I wanted you to know that we recently had a data breach, which you can Google and see, and it'll validate what I'm telling you. We've recently had a data breach. We're asking people to update their, whatever, credit card information. I'm going to go ahead and give you your PIN to validate, or please confirm your PIN. Whatever. You can socially engineer it however you want. You have their phone number. So depending on what you want to get after, I mean, you could even lie and be like, oh, looks like they're using your phone to get into your Twitter account. People do fall for stranger things. It all depends on what your objective is, right? Whenever someone's attacking, you don't just like close your eyes and fire a gun, right? You think about where you want to fire it, and then you point it at that target, and then you fire it, right? Same with cyber attacks, right? There's an objective mostly, unless you're a script kiddie and you're just like want to see the world burn.
Slimpay fined for exposing data of 12 million
Oh no, oh no! If my mic is getting staticky, guys, thank you.
customers for 5 years. Paris-based payment services company Slimpay has been fined 180,000 euros by the French CNIL regulatory body for several GDPR violations after exposing sensitive data of 12 million customers. Slimpay provides API and processing services to merchant clients which include UNICEF, BP, and OVO Energy. In 2015, Slimpay appears to have used actual customer data to test an anti-fraud mechanism as part of an internal research project. Although the research project ended in July 2016, Slimpay left the data, including contact details and banking information, on a server that was freely accessible to the public internet. The company was apparently unaware of the situation until February 2020, when it was tipped off by a customer, after which Slimpay appears to have immediately secured the data. McMinimans
Okay. Thanks for understanding on the audio. Like you tell me, is it happening when I'm touching my earbuds? I don't know. I don't know if it's close to the mic. I don't know if I need a new mic. Hopefully not. I mean, this is a not that old a mic. So the story here, people, is Slim Pay is being fined a ton of money for not securing their system very well. The one thing that I really want to point out here, well, yeah, this is StreamYard. No, this is Restream actually. I have both, but anyways, the thing you want to kind of pull out from here is that GDPR, which is the European Union's privacy regulation that has strong Europe. For those who are in chat and from Europe, you know this. Like privacy is way more serious issue, and personal privacy and individual rights of privacy is way more front and center in Europe than it is in the United States. This is a GDPR fine, a breach. It's got real financial consequences, which is really how you speak to a business, right? You can point a stern finger at the business as much as you want, but fining them financially is how you do it. Go back to that FTC Log4j story just a few minutes ago. Like this is how you affect change, at wholesale for business in general. So this is a good to see. I mean, it sucks for Slimpay, but it's good to see. 180,000 pounds. I don't know how much that is. I don't want to sound like I'm some BDS or anything like that, but that doesn't sound too bad for a business that is in the financial services sector. Ugh. All right, good. I'm glad, Wayne. I mean, for those who are bearing with the audio issues, thank you. I do sincerely appreciate that. I strive to make this good quality audio, video, content, etc. So I will really try to look into getting this microphone situation, if it is the microphone, sorted out.
Breach affected 23 years of employee data. McMenamins, an Oregon-based operator of restaurants, hotels, movie theaters, and concert venues, has confirmed a December 2021 ransomware attack that compromised employee data dating back to January of 1998. The trove of potentially stolen data includes SSNs, names, contact info, birth dates, demographic and disability status, medical notes, performance notes, health insurance info, income, and retirement plan balances. McMenamins is offering past and current employees identity and credit protection services and has a call center to answer questions about the incident.
Wow. Okay. So, and good morning, Joe Hudson, by the way. Special shout out to my good friend, Joe Hudson, really great friend of the cybersecurity community. So McMenamins, basically this business, their hospitality business, they have a bunch of businesses underneath their portfolio. They had 23 years of data on employees that got breached. A couple things here that immediately come to my mind. One, why, like, I understand that you have to have that information for like pensions and stuff like that, but I feel like you don't need 23 years just sitting in one little stockpile. I mean, perhaps consider only keeping the data that you need, like readily accessed in hot storage, and then everything else in cold storage, perhaps, to kind of limit the impact. I'm sure they weren't thinking of it that way. A lot of information got breached here, people. So we're talking, all the normal suspects, right? Name, address, phone number, email, but then birth date, medical notes, social security number, health insurance plan, pension amounts, retirement amounts, bank accounts. Like, that's pretty serious. I don't know who got this information. Again, it's one of those ones where, it could have been, kind of more of a Nigerian email fraud type thing where they're not really interested in that particular data set, even though they had access to it, all the way to more of a targeted, criminal supply chain type attack where they're very interested in that, and that is the asset that they were going to be using. I do want to point out one thing really quickly. It's either this story or another one that we're going to cover, but one thing that's really important to note is different hackers, different threat attackers, different criminals, whatever you want to call them, right? They all have different objectives and motivations. I just talked about this, right? Like, what's your goal? What was the intent of committing that attack? Sometimes you have to report breaches, and I think it's the next one, maybe with healthcare. Like, sometimes you have to report breaches even though you don't know whether or not the breach actually occurred. A perfect example, I see this in healthcare all the time, right? Dr. Auger has patient information in email. I'm emailing my patients, hey, like, here's your diagnosis, hey, like, let's talk about it, blah 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 blah, right? You got or other doctor, hey, Dr. Hudson, here's what I'm thinking, like, I want to collaborate on this treatment plan, whatever. Your email has a ton of medical information, okay? But you're also doing, okay, so your email has medical information. Hacker gets into your email because you don't have MFA and you have a crappy password. They've got your email. The very first thing they do is they set you're forwarding to their account, and then they delete their own email that they sent initially. So then now they're getting copies of all your email. And the entire purpose of what they're trying to do is to find out whether or not they can commit business email compromise, which is meaning they're going to try to trick the finance and accounting department to issue payment to a fraudulent organization that they own. They don't care about, Sally's diagnosis or Bob's treatment plan, but because that information was in there, because the threat actor had access to that data set, even though the threat actor never ever accessed it, it is still a reportable breach. Do you understand? Unless you have audit log evidence that support. Might be time for a new Mac. Okay. I mean, Mike, unless you have audit log evidence to support the fact that that data was not accessed, you have to assume it was. You have to assume breach unless you can prove it otherwise. So, so sometimes, this data gets breached, but it wasn't actually breached. God, I feel like the static is my co-host now. I got to fire the static guy. Static. Ugh.
And now, a word from our sponsor, DeepWire. Data skimmer infects Sothebys real estate websites.
Oh, this is a clever
According
one.
to Palo Alto Network's Unit 42 division, at least 100 Sothebys real estate websites have been infected by a supply chain style JavaScript data skimmer distributed via cloud video platform. The code harvests information that victims load into contact pages requesting a home showing, including names, emails, and phone numbers. Researchers highlight the skimmer is highly polymorphic, elusive, and continuously evolving, making it difficult to defend against using techniques such as blocking domain names or URLs. A sample of active affected sites make heavy use of the Brightco video player. However, the researchers have not confirmed the affected service. The researchers recommend that website administrators conduct regular web content integrity checks to help defend against such attacks. Fake
Okay,
Telegram.
we won't spend a ton of time on this, but this one is cool. I actually had a few minutes before the show started, so I read this particular article. This one's really cool. So if you think about the way that like a realtor websites, like housing real estate, there's tons of websites hosting listings, right? So they're not going to recreate. This isn't 1999. You're not going to recreate the listing on every page. No, they have the listing in some type of content delivery network, right? It's stored up here, and then all the websites just point to it. And that way, when the listing gets updated, when a new listing gets added, whatever, the feed just automatically updates, right? It's very, I don't know, Web 2.0. It's very supply chainy, okay? To make a stupid word up, but you get it, right? What these attackers did was they infected the video feed up in the content delivery network with a piece of JavaScript. And then anytime anyone went up to pull down, they would be pulling down the infected one. Very clever, right? So now I see this all the time in my real life practice, okay? Email comes in from a user. Hey, I can't access Sothebys.com. I can't access realtor.com. I can't access whatever, like any super legit website.com. And it's because your DNS is like, no. This site's been reported as infected or whatever. And it seems conflicting because like Sotheby's, how could it be infected? Well, it's because they've got malicious malware effectively on their website. So they've been compromised. So you have to think it's not just the legitimacy of the website, but what's going on with that website. That's why you have to investigate these things. And by the way, these guys were basically skimming the user text fields, right? So credit card number, username, I don't know if they were getting the password, but like address, all that stuff, all feeds into social engineering and tax and stuff like that. Okay. Josh Mason, that's funny. Okay, let's keep going.
App using Purple Fox to hack into computers. According to new research from Minerva Labs, Trojanized installers of the Telegram messaging application are being used to distribute the Windows-based Purple Fox backdoor on compromised systems. Purple Fox is a difficult-to-detect rootkit that uses a worm-like propagation feature to spread more rapidly. The researchers note that threat actors are breaking the attack up into several small files, most of which have low detection rates by antivirus scanners. Trend Micro shed light on the later stages of the Purple Fox infection chain, targeting SQL databases for illicit cryptocurrency mining. Sega's
Okay,
sloppy
so a
security.
couple things here. One, I'm not really familiar with the Purple Fox rootkit. I like the name. Honestly, it's kind of cool. I will personally investigate Purple Fox rootkit after this just to see like what it's about since it's actively being used in our ecosystem. But the real important thing here, and this is a great opportunity to educate your end user population, everyone, is only download, like, first of all, in corporate setting, you should only be using applications that are approved by the business and made available through the business, right? Whether it's in an internal store that you can download apps from, or it's pushed from endpoint management or IT or whoever, whatever is running. Don't go out and just download randomly, right? I have seen attacks. Okay, hold on. I got to bring myself up on this one. Okay. I have seen attacks and they're very clever. Okay. Hold on. I got to get this camera up on me. Listen, I've seen attacks where the bad guys will literally have like this fake Telegram installer, right? Then they will pay Google, literally Google, X amount of dollars, right? Because they're well funded typically from ransomware. They'll pay Google for ad space. So their listing, their URL is the top result on Google, right? You know how you get your ad fed results on Google? These guys do it. So they'll say Telegram installer, they'll give whatever, 10 grand, 30 grand to Google. So they're the top result. How often do people, by the way, spoiler alert, the answer is all the time. How often do people Google Telegram and then click on the first one because they just have confidence that because the first one is going to be the best one or the most frequent one or the most common one, that's the installer. I bet you if you go to the site, it's going to be a legitimately looking Telegram site. So then they download this Telegram. The thing still, it has the Telegram app embedded in it, and then they stick the Purple Fox rootkit in it, or the installer that's going to pull down Purple Fox rootkit, right? So you have Telegram, Telegram's running on your computer, you feel great. This is a classic definition of a Trojan. This is a Trojan. Legitimate application with extra functionality that you certainly do not want. And because they have it kind of pieced together, your EDR isn't really going to pick it up. I don't know if it'll pick up the Purple Fox rootkit depending on how deep that rootkit gets. But this is an awesome example of modern Trojan and how end users can get infected despite, like not wanting to be infected, but it's just, this is how they do it, All right, let me get a spicy up in here. Spicy! All right, let's continue.
He exposes AWS S3 bucket.
Ooh, Sega.
During a recent cloud security audit, gaming giant Sega Europe discovered that its sensitive data was being stored on an unsecured Amazon Web Services S3 bucket. The laundry list of Sega's potentially exposed data and services includes keys to the company's MailChimp and Steam API, access to simple notification services used by their IT team to communicate, multiple sets of Sega Europe's AWS keys, and data of hundreds of thousands of users. Researcher Aaron Phillips with VPN Overview indicated that so far there is no indication the exposed data and services have been accessed by unauthorized individuals. Phillips added, quote, "This cybersecurity report should serve as a wake-up call for businesses to assess their cloud security practices," end quote.
Yeah, I mean, this is a wake-up call. I mean, it is 2022, so I think maybe you've hit snooze on the alarm a few times if we're talking about a wake-up call for protecting your cloud assets. But this really does underscore an issue, okay? Yes, we can move agile, we can be, quick moving, we can be innovative, we can have scrums, but you have to practice sound software development practices. I don't care how innovative you are or how, if you have matcha lattes in your break room, like you have to practice sound security principles. And we see these S3 buckets all the time, right? They had access to the MailChimp API keys. That means you could email in mass at least some set of either Sega customers or staff, right? I'm not sure exactly what they're using MailChimp for there, but that's the point. I know that Amazon has the capability to kind of show you what AWS buckets are open to the public. The problem is sometimes you want buckets open to the public. And if you don't have a standard naming convention, which is another, like in a textbook, it seems easy to do. And in practice, no one does it because you have different people standing up buckets who have different ideas of what standard naming conventions are. But if you don't know, like if the name doesn't make sense and you've got it just exposed, again, if IT is like, I hate to dump on IT, but if IT is setting it up and they're not thinking through, it's just like, is the light green? Yes, the light's green. I can totally access it. Okay, not thinking that it can be accessed by everyone. And my IT brethren, yes, they do practice good cyber hygiene in general, right? So I'm not dumping on them in general as like, aloof fools, but sometimes there's a disconnect between standing it up and giving access all the way to protecting the access to only those individuals that need it. This could have been really bad for Sega. And also, I just want to point out, you can read John Helmus's book on AWS pen testing. Like, there's tools for this. Finding open S3 buckets is not hard, right? There's tools that will do it for you. So you just got to be vigilant, right? That's the challenge, right? That's why some people don't like cybersecurity as a practice. You have to be vigilant. You can't, I don't want to say don't take any days off, but like it's hard. You got to maintain vigilance. Yes, maybe it was the intern Alex who set up the bucket. Yep. All right. Let's keep rolling.
DatPiff data breach exposes passwords of millions of customers. The popular mixtape hosting services DatPiff has fallen victim to threat actors selling the cracked passwords for nearly 7.5 million of its members online. DatPiff hashed the passwords in the database with the now obsolete and insecure MD5 algorithm, which can be cracked by comparing hashes to known MD5 word lists or using cracking tools. It's unclear when the data breach occurred, but DatPiff's database was first sold privately and then publicly on hacking forums in July 2020. Users can check if they are part of the data breach through the Have I Been Pwned notification service.
Okay, another classic kind of, this is almost a commodity cybersecurity news story, right? So DatPiff, the user database population, username and passwords were compromised. They've been sold. So if anyone had an account on DatPiff, you have to consider that password completely burnt, right? It's scorched earth. You cannot use that password again. And again, this is a good opportunity because it's painful if you have to change your password in multiple places. You shouldn't be using the same password all over the place. You should use a password manager. And I know the adoption of a password manager can be intimidating to non-technical people, but once they're done changing their password everywhere or getting compromised because they didn't change their password everywhere, maybe they'll consider a tool like Bitwarden. Love Bitwarden. Basically, end user opportunity to warn of compromised passwords and the reuse of passwords. Again, I've said it on the channel before, and I'll say it every time they come up in the news story. Have I Been Pwned is an excellent resource for really anyone, individually, personally, or as an organization. I have all the organizations that I'm responsible for managing or securing, protecting, registered with Have I Been Pwned. And if any of my users show up in that database, I get notified immediately. So it's a very light lift and it's free in order to protect your end users. Okay. That's a cool picture though. I'm a big fan of like 90s hip hop. Joe Hudson knows what I'm talking about, even though we disagree on Nas. Okay, let's keep going. Oh wait, I think that's it for the news stories today.
Today's cybersecurity.
Yeah, that does do it for the news stories for the day. All right, everybody, before I dip out, we are at 8:30. I want to remind everyone, if you are available and you're looking for a good time, tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will be talking with John Strand on the Simply Cyber live stream, okay? He's going to be coming on. He's doing some amazing work, right? We're going to talk about all sorts of different stuff with John, but he has this pay what you can active defense cyber deception, which is one of 3 classes that Anti-Siphon Black Hills Information Security offers. And it's pay what you can. I'm registered, okay? And I'll be taking it. It's end of January. I'm super pumped about it, honestly. And John's just a really great guy, so it'd be worth coming in just to say hi and ask some questions of him, okay? That is what hold on, let me get my outro music going. There he is. All right, guys. So thanks so much. If you've taken a John Strand class, you know how good it can be. January 5th, 2022. I've gotten some feedback on the show on Simply Cyber First Things First. Some people want like maybe a little cybersecurity tip of the day first thing in the morning or first as the show goes, maybe some like keyword terminology, kind of add a piece to the overall, or just keep it a threat briefing. We'll see. I'm playing with it. I'll investigate this microphone. You might see a new mic ASAP if Amazon can overnight me one. And next week we will be there will be a shift because I start teaching on the 13th. The spring semester starts up. Okay, so we'll figure it out together. Please share this with your friends, people who care about cybersecurity. We're going to have a good time. It's January 5th, 2022, y'all. We'll see you tomorrow, 8 a.m., bright and early.